Hey guys, for those watching the video, you just saw my entrance into the Last Jedi. I was about to say the Force Awakens. Now I'm back from the Force Awakens. I didn't give a reaction directly from the movie. I had to sit and marinate with it. I'm back home, in my home, and talking with my boy Brian Miller here.
Oh, hey guys,
And
what's up?
I decided that instead of just giving a straight on reaction review, Brian and I would give a non spoiler review for my reaction.
That works.
Uh, we'll keep the video short because there will be a spoiler review as soon as the embargo's up.
Oh yeah.
Before we get into this, Brian, I'm going to echo something you said on your reaction video.
Okay.
When this video goes up on Realm of the Mist Entertainment, absolutely, positively, no spoilers.
Oh please
If
no.
I see a spoiler in the comment section, I will delete you. And if I could figure out a way of blocking you from ever being involved with Realm of the Mist Entertainment, I will.
Well,
Do not.
we ain't playing games with the spoiler stuff because this is one you do
No.
not spoil.
Well, Brian will attest to this with me here. Brian and I both have connections to some people within Lucasfilm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to name names or anything else. We do have some connections that we're in good standings with. You let out spoilers that could hurt our reputation with them. We will not have it.
No.
Besides the fact that we're true Star Wars fans and we don't want to ruin the experience for other people.
Yep. Because some people don't, some people aren't going to get to see it. Like I talked to Nicholas Paul Nave on the Canon Library page earlier, and he said he's not going to get to go see it till tomorrow night.
Right.
And there's some people won't get to see it until like Sunday. So
right.
we're not
There's
playing
some
this
people
game.
that's just not going to be able to. There's some people it's just not going to. It's the holidays.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to afford it until like maybe after New Year's.
Yeah.
Or until it goes into the cheap tickets.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're any less of fans. It just means financially, responsibility wise, they can't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't want to ruin that experience for them.
Right.
I don't want to be that guy. Brian doesn't want to be that guy. I don't want our fan base and subscription to be those people.
Please God no. Well, with that being said,
But that's the only warning.
with
On that being said,
all right,
take it away, Brian.
so there's several things we can talk about that is non-spoilery as far as Last Jedi goes. Now that you and I have seen the film,
Yes.
first off, my review's uploading as we speak. So first off, let's hear your initial thoughts, your initial reactions, and just your overall takeaway from the film.
From the ending of the from the credits, I really was kind of in a state of shock. I really didn't know how to feel about this movie. There was a lot of good things. There were some misses, I think, in the movie, which you and I discussed in detail before we started recording.
Mm-hmm.
That I walked away from, and I'm kind of happy I didn't give an initial reaction review. Because if I would have given an initial reaction review, I don't think I would have praised it as much as I'm about to. And I think two things made my reactions better than the initial one. One, I had time to think about it, driving home, dropping off my girl, all that happy stuff. Two, sitting here and talking with you about the movie, hashing things out, things we liked about the movie out, directions that we didn't see going, and stuff of that nature, and even addressing some of the things that were like, that was kind of offbeat or weird, and non-fitting. It allowed me to put more into perspective, and the more I talked about it and the more I thought about it, this is a very, very, very well done Star Wars movie.
Beautiful.
As I stated to you, I still don't know where I would put it within like the not if we count the Clone Wars cartoon movie, the 9 previously existing Star Wars films. I don't know where I would rank this one to those yet. I need more time to marinate with it. I think I need to watch it 1 or 2 more times. But overall, like you and I stated earlier, Ryan Johnson, you made a hell of a movie, and I now completely understand why Disney said, here's a new trilogy for you.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
run with it.
It makes all the sense now. Like, as at first we were
All
like,
the
okay,
sense.
look, it can't be that good. And then we go see it, and it's that good. like,
That good.
like I just, okay. When we walked when we walked into this movie, I'd already seen all the positive buzz for it, and I was trying not to let that sway my opinion of my review of the movie. And then I go into, like, I already did my non-spoiler review for this film, and it's uploading right now, but now I've calmed down, my adrenaline is coming down a little bit, the endorphins are starting to go away, so now, like, essentially my video wasn't a first review, it was a first reaction. And this one is more of, I can, like you said, you and I have talked about it a little bit now, and I've calmed down, and I've put some things in perspective, but I mean, from the get-go of this film, you're hooked. And, like, you're just like, oh my god, and you're watching this happen, and then, you know, it's like, you never know where this film is going to end up at. You just have no clue. Like, Luke, they summed up the trailer perfectly with Luke saying, this isn't going to go the way you think. Like, quite literally, every 3 minutes, he should be on screen saying that, because that's what is happening. And, I mean, it goes in a direction that no Star Wars film has ever gone before, and it was different from anything we've seen before, but it still felt like Star Wars, but, like, I don't know, like a new breed of Star Wars, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It definitely does. The one thing that this movie that the takeaway was, it had humor to it. For as dark as this, and believe me, this movie is dark.
Yeah.
There is some dark shit going on in this movie. But there was light-hearted humor. You know, kind of. This is non-spoilery. I could say this, but those speeders on Crate, like, they're getting set for their main battle and stuff, or not main battle, but their battle. And Poe's giving directions, and he puts his foot through the bottom of it because they're so rusted out. Mm-hmm. Like, those types of comedy moments, like, they threw in there just to kind of help alleviate the tension. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That was, you know, that was the type of, like, I don't want to say slapstick,
right?
But there was humor in a movie that, when it first starts off, you don't expect any humor in this movie.
Yeah. Well,
you know, you're expecting like Rogue One times 10.
Right. Well, see, one of the more comedic parts of it, and this is no surprise, this is no spoiler, is BB-8. You know, he had some of the best physical comedy in The Force Awakens, as far as, you know, his body language and the way he moved, and because for a ball with a bowl on top of it, he can convey so many emotions just the way they moved him and stuff. Like when Rey's like, no, you can't come home with me. And he's just like, brr, 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 and you see him just kind of rocking, and he looks up. Like, there's so much emotion and just that kind of, you know, body language. And then they carried it on into this one, and it's just, it's classic.
They didn't just carry it on. They elevated it.
They expanded on it.
They really did.
And, I mean, it's just, BB-8's hilarious, you know, and, I mean, as BB-8 always is. Like, BB-8's always funny. But they like you said, they took it to a new level, and, I mean, not too much. Like, it wasn't over the top. Because I remember at Celebration, somebody asked Ryan Johnson about BB-8, and he said that the advice JJ gave him was, you can't have enough BB-8. And you can tell that he still held back a little bit, but took that advice. You know what I mean? Like, there was a group of people sitting around trying to come up, how can we make BB-8 do something cute? Like, how are we going to do that? And then they came up with these new, like, physical comedy, you know, ideas, and it worked. But, I mean, especially, okay, no spoiler, at the beginning of the film, when I think you and I talked about this scene just a little bit ago. I'm not going to bring it. I'm not going to say anything. But the one scene I just told you towards the beginning of the film, you can't help but laugh your ass off whenever you see that. You're just like, what the shit? Like, really? Like, it's so good, man.
And let me take a moment here and put a lot of people's minds at ease.
Go for it.
With The Last Jedi 2, with respects to a new character, the Porg. Allow me to put you guys' mind at ease. The Porgs are not that bad.
They're not.
They're not the new Ewoks. They're not Jar Jar Binks. They're there for minor reasons. They're not overused, and they're not overly slapstick silliness. There were actually some parts in the movie that a porg existed that I found myself laughing at it.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, they're not oversell a cuteness, although they are cute. I got to admit it. Okay. Annoying but cute.
Yeah.
They're cute. They're annoying, but they're cute. You know, actually, out of all the new creatures, it was the ones on Canto Bight that I really liked the most.
Oh, the Fabiers?
The race creatures?
Yeah. Yeah, those things were really cool. Like, I'm reading Canto Bight right now, and they're talking about those things quite a bit. But yeah, those things were really cool. If I was going to pick one creature that I really liked, it would be the Crystal Foxes, which that's in the trailer. That's no spoiler. That's just... But the Crystal Foxes, those things are absolutely gorgeous. And actually, the first time I saw one wasn't even in the film. It was when I was playing the Last Jedi DLC last night, and I was on Crate.
Right.
And all of a sudden, one runs past me, and I'm like, oh, those things are freaking cool looking. Like, they were awesome. And I chased it down, and it's sitting there looking at me, and it was awesome. But to see those on screen, like, it was just... And you can actually hear the crystals clinking whenever they run. Like, it's so cool. I mean, those things were awesome.
Oh, my God. And let me put another mind at ease. Well, Force Awakens was just a reboot, a rehash of A New Hope. So The Last Jedi will be The Empire Strikes Back. Everything in that statement is fucking wrong.
Bullshit.
I will say there were some similarity moments.
Yeah.
In this movie to situations in Empire.
Mm-hmm.
You and I discussed it. There was one major moment that was very similar to a Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But that's where it ended.
That was it.
This was a brand new Star Wars movie, never seen before type movie.
This was something that was just... It was fresh. It was fresh. That's the only word I can think of. Refreshing. It was refreshing to see something like that.
Well, no, your post on Facebook, I think, was a perfect example of what this movie is. You walked away from it experiencing pure joy.
Yeah.
And I could say, like I said, I could say it was a good movie. I could say it was a very, very good movie. It was a very solid Star Wars movie.
Oh, Jesus.
I just can't tell you where I put it in the what's the word I'm looking for?
The ranking?
The ranking.
Yeah.
The rankings of my most favorite to least favorite Star Wars movie.
Well, on the way home, Kirsty... Oh,
like
I'm sorry,
I said, is it higher? As I said, is it higher than any of the prequels? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think it overtook Force Awakens? After our discussion, yeah, I think it's definitely better than Force Awakens. I'm still wondering if it's better than the originals or Rogue One. See, I'm still marinating that.
Here, okay, look,
but it's definitely higher than some of the other stuff.
When we got back in the car, Kirsty looked at me and said, "Best Star Wars movie ever." Those were her words. That was her opinion.
Right.
She said, "Quote, best Star Wars movie ever." Those were the words that left her mouth. And I just looked at her like, holy shit, she really did like it that much. Well, you know, I'm trying to think of a way to say this without giving anything away. There are moments in this film that are callbacks that you're just like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, it happens, you're just like, you're taken back and you instantly feel your heart melt. Because you're instantly brought back to that moment you first saw the classics, and you're just like...
Well, it's not just the classics. There were moments in this movie, again, to not spoil anything for you guys, but the callbacks don't just stop at the original trilogy.
No.
There are prequel callbacks.
Well...
And it allows for the prequels... And it allows for the prequels to exist in this world and not be something so hated.
Yeah.
You know, the whole entire history of the Jedi that you kind of get in this story. Again, not going to go into details. Learn it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But it really fleshed it out a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I think after watching this movie, I think I could pop in episodes 1, 2, and 3 and maybe have an even fresher perspective on them.
Yeah. Oh, I'm about to watch Force Awakens again. I know. I'm serious. Like when we're done with this, I'm going to go watch Force Awakens again. Like it's 1:17 a.m. where I'm at. Yeah. It's 20 after 1 a.m. right now here, and I don't give a shit. I'm going to go put Force Awakens on. Like I just
you
don't
could
care.
do that. Me, when I'm done with this, I got to take my ass to bed. I got work in the morning.
I took today and tomorrow off because I knew I was going to want to go see it again tomorrow. Which I want to. I just don't know if Kirsty's going to let me. Like I want to go see it again so bad, but it's just
wait.
God, man.
She just said it was the greatest Star Wars movie ever.
It's a monetary thing.
I
don't know if I could drop another $20 to go watch it again, but because we got to drive all the way to Wichita also, which is like a half-hour drive one way. But still, I'm going to talk her into it.
I will say this much: I'm supposed to get I'm a single father, and I get visitations with my kids for people that are watching the videos. My kids are Star Wars fans. I got them into Star Wars. This movie is enough for me to turn around and say, I'm thinking about scraping the money together this weekend and taking them to go see it.
They need to.
For two reasons. One, to let my kids see the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But for me to see it again.
Yeah, true story. True story. But, I mean,
know.
Oh, man, it was so good. I mean... Okay, there's a couple other things we got to talk about without giving away spoilers.
Let's get on it.
Let's talk about the one everybody is obviously wondering about, Carrie Fisher, and her final portrayal of Princess Leia. Man, all I can think of is the only word that comes to mind is bravo. That's it.
I lost it at 2 points with her. Number one was first scene.
Mm-hmm.
First scene, just seeing her on screen.
Yeah.
I did leave the Star Wars universe a minute and just realized that this is the last time I'm going to see Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was heart wrenching. Her performance was phenomenal.
Oh.
It really, really was. And the second time I lost it was in the end credits where they lovingly dedicated the movie to Carrie.
They did. In memory of, yep. And
so
yeah, it's very bittersweet. It really is. But you and I were talking the other day when we were playing Battlefront, and this is going to be the very unpopular opinion, and I thought you were going to be like, "Are you kidding me?" But you actually agreed with me on this. And it was during Force Awakens, I didn't feel like Carrie Fisher really pulled Leia through very well, to be completely honest. I mean, the more I watched it, the more I was like, I don't really see Leia there a whole lot. But on this, man, this one, it was Leia. That was pure Leia.
Well, see, that's the thing. And I think I could say this without it being spoilerish for Last Jedi. The Force Awakens, that was Han's story.
It was.
This was Han's final time out. Harrison's final time out. As far as for the original character, obviously these movies are intended to introduce a new generation of Star Wars characters and pass the torch. That's what these movies are intended to do.
Yeah.
I get that. But with Force Awakens, that was Harrison Ford's last hurrah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was about Harrison. So, yeah, I get Carrie was kind of in the backdrop and Luke didn't even say a word. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This was the twins movie.
It was.
Because the absolute standout performances of the whole entire movie, and trust me, Daisy had a great performance.
Oh,
I have a new respect for Adam Driver from this movie.
Jesus.
But the two standouts were Luke and Leia.
Bar none. It really was. And, man, I don't want to give anything away, so I'm not going to say anything else about it. But, yeah, those two, it's just... And it was Mark's best performance as Luke. Like, it actually was Luke Skywalker on screen. You know what I mean? Like... And you
a very broken Luke.
Yeah, you can tell he's seen some shit, and I'm dude. They better. I swear to God, they better do a new novel between 6 and 7, and actually fleshing out some shit. They really, really need to actually flesh it out. I mean,
well, look, in the extended universe we had when Luke first put the Jedi Order together, was first building his temple on Yavin and stuff of that nature, right? Obviously, that's no longer canon.
Right.
But I want to see that style book telling the story of Luke putting together his Jedi Order.
Yeah.
And then the downfall of it with the Knights of Ren and Kylo and, everything that happened, that transpired, that put Luke into... The best way I can describe Luke Skywalker in this movie is think about a Vietnam veteran with PTSD.
Yeah.
That's really how Luke is in this movie.
He's...
and again, I'm trying not to spoil anything, but
right.
He's seen some shit that fucked him up.
Here's the thing. Like, okay, if you look at films, right? And the films with Luke in it, you go from A New Hope, where he's like innocent and he's still trying to learn everything, to the end of Empire, where he's physically and mentally broken, finding out Vader's his father, and then he comes back in Jedi like a Billy badass, like, and you have no clue what happened to him to get there, and then you get to the Last Jedi and he's back to a broken state, and you're just like, what the shit? Now, like, I'm surprised this guy's still going. Like, it's just... But you can't help but be sympathetic about him, too, and understand why he is the way he is. No,
you totally get it.
And...
You totally get where he's coming from in it. Like I said to you, I said, I applaud Mark Hamill's performance 120,000%. And in the end of it, again, no spoiler, but you're happy to see Luke on screen.
Oh.
But I was very, very disheartened as a fan of Luke Skywalker. Growing up, wishing I was fucking Luke Skywalker. Being that 7-year-old kid out on my front porch with a plastic Return of the Jedi lightsaber, swinging it at moving cars going by, not like actually in the car's way, but acting like they're TIE fighters, and I'm cutting them down because I'm fucking Luke Skywalker. I'm the new generation of Jedi Knights. At 7 years old, that's still the guy, and that's still the kid in me at 40 years old now, and seeing what Luke has been turned into from the shit he's seen in the past 30 years, broke my heart.
Well,
it really, really broke my heart.
Yeah. Well, also, if you pay attention, there's a lot of things in this film where if you've been keeping up on the new canon very, very well, there's... All right, look, this isn't spoilery.
Look, you know how well I've been keeping up with the canon as best as I can.
Well, this isn't really spoilery for The Last Jedi. I haven't given my review for Legends of Luke Skywalker yet. But there's some things in Legends of Luke Skywalker that if you read it, you directly see the connection of that in this film. Like, there's things that happen in the Legends of Luke Skywalker that you're just like, oh, okay, I get where that... And you can see the connection with... I mean, not just that piece of canon material, but there's a lot of little... You have to have an eye for detail. Keep an eye out for details watching this movie. Because some of the details, like in the background and stuff like that, if you're staying true to the new canon and you're doing everything you can to keep up on it, you're going to notice things. Little nods to the canon throughout. You're just like, oh, I've seen that before, or oh my gosh, I've read that before. Like, there's so many little tiny nitpick things that even if you haven't read the canon, you're just going to see them and just be like, oh, I wonder what those things are, but it's not going to affect your view of the story. But if you've read
you're absolutely right.
Yeah. And
you're absolutely right. With this movie, even things that like reference back to things you should know, even if you're not like a canon junkie, but you know the movies and like the cartoons or the TV shows, stuff of that nature. It is one of those movies that if you blink, you missed it.
Yeah.
It really is. You got to pay attention not just to the performances on screen, but what's happening in the background.
Yeah.
It really is one of those movies.
Yeah. You know.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was also gonna say, and I actually just lost it. Oh, the questions that we've had for 2 years now, questions that everybody's had for 2 years now. You can rest assured there is resolution coming. Like
some.
Well,
I still question one or two. But some.
I take it at face value.
Some resolutions are coming.
I take it at face value. We'll talk more about that off camera, but because I don't want to give anything away.
We'll talk about that in the spoiler section.
I cannot wait for that one, man. I cannot wait to let just everything loose. I cannot fucking wait. But yeah, man, just can we? Okay, let's talk about this for a minute. Now that we've seen the film, what do you think the box office is going to do? Like, how do you think this is going to be box office wise?
That's rough. I know professional critic wise, because we're the farthest thing for professional critics.
Okay.
You know, we're fans with fucking webcams. Let's call it what it is. You know, but professional critics have given this a hell of a review. And as a fan with a webcam, I'm forced to agree with them in every sense of the word. Mm-hmm. This movie may not touch Force Awakens in its initial couple weeks run, but word of mouth will make this pull in some major money.
It's going to.
This movie has legs. This movie has legs for two reasons. One, like I said, word of mouth.
Yeah.
People are going to turn around and be like, dude, you got to go see Last Jedi. You've got to go see Last Jedi. But here's the other thing. It is one of those movies you can't see just once.
Yeah.
I'm already planning my second trip.
Yeah. And
probably third. So that's 3 tickets sold on me alone.
Yeah.
Now, if everybody freaking does that, that's tripling what the box office would have been if everybody just bought 1 ticket.
Well, I saw Force Awakens 9 times. I did. I saw Force Awakens 9 times. But this is one that... All right, look. It is the longest Star Wars movie that there is, but it doesn't feel like it. All right? Like,
I was going to say, it did not feel that long.
It did not feel 2.5 hours. And people are going to walk out of this movie, and they're going to go tell their friends about it. They're going to go tell their family about it. People have got family coming to see them for Christmas. You know, it's, hey, let's go see Star Wars together. You guys haven't seen it? We got to go see this. You're going to get repeat views off that. You're going to get first-time views off that. You're going to get word of mouth. I mean, you're going to have families coming together around Christmas going, we need something to do. Let's go see Star Wars. You know, and this is one that I'm going to actually say it. It won't do it at first. But there's a very real possibility this one could surpass Force Awakens. I'm not playing. Like, I am not playing. Once the word of mouth gets out, because so far I have yet to see... Oh, okay, I've seen one person on Facebook said they hated it. I've seen one person.
I've seen a couple comments and like non-spoiler reviews, critic reviews that I was watching on YouTube. Mm-hmm. That people were not only trying to spoil shit, but were saying that the movie was horrible or whatever else. They're wrong. The one thing I will say from this, and please don't take this as a negative, because I don't mean it as a negative, but every other Star Wars movie I've ever walked out of, you know, of memory, I can't really speak of Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope because I was a very young child. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I was just happy to see Star Wars. You know what I mean? But, you know, like Jedi on through. Usually I walk out of a Star Wars movie so hyper, like, dude, yeah, Jedi, yeah, lightsabers, yay. I walked out very somber from this movie. And it wasn't because I didn't like the movie. It's because I had a lot of shit on my mind after this movie.
The movie is so much to take in. It really is. It makes sense why it's 2.5 hours long. but
I think it could have gone longer.
It really could.
There were some things where, to me, it almost felt a little bit rushed. Like they were trying so hard to fit it in. It's like, why not just throw in another 30 minutes and give yourself the time?
Well, Rian Johnson said that his original cut was 3 hours, which is that 30 minutes he cut off.
Yeah.
And man,
that if I had one damn good. If I had one real complaint, it was some scenarios, some scenes did feel a little rushed, a little hurried to get to and then cut to the next whatever part of the story they were trying to tell.
Okay.
To me, it's like they could have done with give that extra 15, 30 minutes. Make the movie 3 hours. None of us would have complained about it. Well, and give a little bit more solid resolution to that scene or that arc in the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like you and I were talking before we actually decided to record, and the one scene that I told you about was my favorite part, right? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That scene could have gone another fucking hour, and I wouldn't have fucking cared. Like, no, I'm not playing. Like, that could have been the whole fucking movie. And
that was your Vader in the hallway scene.
That was my Vader in the hallway scene for this movie. And dude, no, I'm not playing. Okay, look, I'm not gonna ruin anything, but there's one scene. Anybody who watches the Canon Library and has watched for a while, don't go back and watch my old videos if you don't watch, okay? But not until after you've seen the movie. But anybody who watches knows there's one thing I wanted the most out of Rogue One, and it was Vader in the hallway scene, or at least Vader cutting down fools, and I got that. There was one thing I wanted in Last Jedi, one fucking thing, and I got it. And I literally bawled like a fucking baby. I'm not playing, dude. I'm over there sniffling, wiping. I had tears running down my cheeks. Because it was, I was like, I'm so high on that one scene, dude. I'm not playing. You know which scene I'm talking about. And when you guys go see the movie, you'll know which scene I'm talking about.
No, I know which scene, and I mean, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed that scene as well. But the scene to me was the first day of training between Luke and Rey. I'm not going to go into details, but when you see the scene, you'll know. I loved that scene. I absolutely adored that scene.
It was good. And this movie is so full of just little things like that, you know, and you never see them coming either, and then they happen. And I mean, like the one scene I was talking about, I had pure unadulterated joy watching the scene that I was just talking about. Like, I mean, you know how long it's been since I felt pure joy? Like, I've been happy, but pure joy. I forgot what joy felt like. You know, with the world we live in today and all, you know, everything I've been through in the last several years, I've forgotten what joy felt like. And that happened. I'm about to cry again just thinking about it, because that, like, I didn't realize my soul needed that. Like, that literally, my soul needed that. And it got it, and I didn't realize how badly I needed it until it happened. And
look, the
naysayers so fucking are happy, dude. I'm so happy.
The naysayers. I'm tired, guys. I'm sorry. The naysayers of Star Wars, the ones that are the original trilogy purists, the EU people, or the prequelists. Remember one thing that Star Wars is supposed to be. It's supposed to be entertainment. Yep. It's supposed to be taking us out of the fucking dredge bullshit of our lives and giving us a couple hours in a world and a galaxy far, far away that we absolutely adore.
Yep.
Let it be that.
This one does it.
Shut your freaking critic pie holes for a minute and just enjoy the fact that we still have Star Wars.
Yeah.
That we're getting solid stories, whether they're as good as the originals, as good as the prequels, if the stories are as solid as the EUs, doesn't fucking matter. It's Star Wars. It's a good time. You can walk away having some pure enjoyment out of it, and a couple hours out of whatever bullshit you deal with on a daily basis.
Yep. And you want to know something?
Let it be that.
In my opinion, this is the third film Disney's put out, and so far and this is just my opinion, they're just getting better. They're literally getting better. They are 3 for 3, and they are going up in quality. I'm not playing because I really liked Force Awakens. Because that was, I mean, we've all seen Force Awakens. I can talk about that one. I mean, as close as it was, to, it felt like it went right along with the classics. That's what my heart needed then, And then we got Rogue One, which a lot of people who follow the canon library and follows the reviews and follows Realm of the Mist and knows that I've talked about it, how that was my favorite Star Wars film, and I've lost subscribers over that, which is bullshit. But that was my favorite Star Wars film,
right?
And we're just still going. Like they're getting better now. Is it going to stay that trajectory come 6 months from now when we get Solo? That has yet to be seen.
I will say this much.
Right now,
playing off what you're saying.
3 for 3, yeah.
Playing off of what you're saying, I actually have higher hopes
for Solo.
Because of the fact you're right. If you want to go the fact that they're 3 for 3, and if you want to argue the point that Force Awakens was the weakest of the three,
yeah, they're getting better.
They're getting better, and then you have Ron Howard at the helm of this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Solo is going to have much to worry about.
No,
I mean, is it going to touch Last Jedi or Force Awakens? No. Yeah. Is it going to touch Rogue One? Probably not. It may become the weakest of the 4.
Yeah.
That Disney has done, or Lucasfilm and Disney have done thus far.
Yeah.
But it's still not going to be a bad movie.
Yeah.
I'm confident enough in that because you're right. They figured out this formula.
They got it. They've got it. Yeah, they've got it. And I was really surprised we didn't get a Han Solo trailer at the beginning of Last Jedi because I really thought we would. But I mean, sitting in the theater,
that was a big disappointment.
Sitting in the theater, though, I was like, well, I shouldn't be surprised because they usually drop it a day or two online before they do it in theaters. But I really thought maybe they would just surprise us because they would have the target audience sitting right there, the people who they want to go see Han Solo. And I was kind of surprised because the showing I was in, they showed Pacific Rim Uprising, Black Panther, and then they showed the trailer for Last Jedi before we watched Last Jedi. And I remember, and I stood up, I was like, and I was like, "Well, when does that come out?" And I was like, and my buddy Chris avoided all the trailers to go into it clean, and then they played the fucking trailer before the movie, and he was like, "Well, so much for that."
The reason it pissed me off that they didn't give a Solo trailer is because of Force Awakens. When I went to see Force Awakens on opening night, they had that teaser of Rogue One, which was simply, Forest Moon of Endor or whatever the case may be, and you got the fucking Death Star rising in the background, and all you hear is like battle chatter.
I didn't get that from my Force Awakens.
It was like a 10-second teaser for Rogue One during Force Awakens.
Yeah,
I figured we would get at least something like that for Solo, even if it was just simply like the Millennium Falcon the Millennium Falcon zooms through a fucking asteroid field, and then Solo, a Star Wars story, the end.
Yeah.
I expected something, and they did nothing.
Well, I can kind of see why, and I can't understand why, and I can't understand why. They missed an opportunity where they had their target audience right there, and you could have surprised it on them. But at the same time, I kind of understand it because you wanted to focus on Last Jedi. Like, that was where you wanted the main focus. Now, in the next couple weeks, we're going to start seeing Han Solo shit. I'm willing to bet. Because we're 6 months out from the film. It's about time to start dropping a fucking trailer. The Force Awakens. The Last Jedi toys are already on rollback and clearance at Walmart, which means they're making room for the new toys, which is going to be Han Solo. And the posters are starting to pop up in some theaters now for Solo with the logo. And they've got a trailer cut. There's been a report from Lucasfilm. They do have the trailer cut. It's just, I think they're biding their time. And at this point, all my faith is put in Disney and Lucasfilm at this point. every bit of faith I have.
I don't think
after tonight, I will no longer until they have a misstep. I will not doubt Lucasfilm and Disney again.
Well, I'll throw it to you this way, and then we'll get back on Last Jedi.
Yeah, we need to.
Since we didn't get the teaser trailer for Solo tonight, or on the Last Jedi film, I personally don't think we're going to see the first teaser until Valentine's Day. I'm going to say February. I'm going to say February is where they're really going to push it. I think that's when they're going to push it because they're going to wait. They're going to wait for Jedi to start declining.
I still feel like they need to push Solo back to December. I feel like that it's just they need to do it. They may be able to get the movie done by May, but you don't release a movie outside of December now. December is owned by Star Wars.
Well, I'll say for this reason. I'm looking forward to the fact that I've got 6 months before another Star Wars movie. But then I've got, what, a year and a half?
18 months, yeah. See, I'm excited because we've got 6 months until the new one. But then we're going to have a dry period for a year and a half. And that, I mean,
yeah.
It goes back, like, because I say it a lot, how Star Wars fans are spoiled and self-entitled. And, I mean, with a lot of, not all of them, but, you know, a good portion of them. And then you realize, oh my God, I have to wait 18 months for a new Star Wars movie. And it just solidifies how spoiled we really are. Because I remember when the prequels were coming out, we had to wait 3 years for each of those. And now we're down to half that, and we're like, no! Like, it's...
Now take into consideration somebody like me, okay, who was alive during the originals. Mm-hmm. You had your 3-year gap for the originals, but then there was, what, a 16-year gap?
16 years.
16 years between Jedi and Phantom Menace.
Yep.
I don't care how terrible Phantom Menace was. It was a new fucking Star Wars movie. Yep. I was going to see it, and I was going to love every fucking minute of it.
Yep.
Except for one. But I'm not. This is the Last Jedi review. I'm not going to go into the midichlorian bullshit again.
Yeah, we're not talking about it. But, you know, and that... The other thing about Last Jedi... Because, look, we know 9's coming in 2 years. We know JJ's doing it. And we already know that 9 is supposed to wrap up all 3 trilogies. Like, that's supposed to be the connective tissue of everything that has come before. Literally everything.
I think this one did a good job. I think this one did a good job of connecting the trilogies, too.
It did.
Again, I'll repeat it. Obviously, you didn't give the rap, but you are starting to see shit intertwine all together.
Yeah.
All 8 of these movies, excluding the spin-offs.
Yeah.
All 8 of these movies belong together, and it shows in this movie.
It does. It really does. And, you know, the other thing, because, I mean, okay, look, you got the classics, right? And that was Star Wars of a generation for the 70s and 80s. They were their own type of film. And then we got the prequels in the late 90s, early 2000s, and that was a new breed of Star Wars then compared to what the classics were. Okay, but they still did the last one kind of bled it into the classics, right? Where they could still feel like they were in the same series.
Right.
This trilogy so far, we're 2 out of the 3 now. And it feels like I said, a new breed of Star Wars, but it still feels like Star Wars. And like each trilogy has its own characteristics and its own lifeblood that just it separates the trilogies, but at the same time you can tell they're all of the same DNA strand. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just and personally I love the direction they're going with the new ones. For some reason, the feeling I get watching the new ones, I know they're modern Star Wars movies. I know that seeing them. Like, you can tell the difference between those and the classics. But they match the classics a hell of a lot better than what the prequels did. They run with it a lot better.
But even so, like, a lot of people hated the cleaner CGI parts of the prequels.
Yeah.
And one of the appeals of the new trilogy is they went back to the gritty used universe. Mm-hmm. And practical effects and everything else. That's great. But in fairness to the prequels, and I even give it to Attack of the Clones on this, it was Star Wars.
Yeah.
It may not have been the down and dirty Star Wars of the classics, but it was still Star Wars.
Yeah.
It was still that universe. It was still that galaxy. It was still those types of characters. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And again, this movie has made me confident in Solo. This movie has made me confident in the Unknown trilogy.
Yeah. Oh God, yes. No, I am so fucking ready for Rian Johnson's trilogy. It's not even fucking like no. Okay, look, I want Episode 9 right fucking now. Like if that came out in 10 minutes, I would already be in line for it. I'm not playing. Like I would. Like I want it right fucking now. And
yeah.
But the thing is, I want Ryan's trilogy more. But that's just me personally. I mean, because that shows how much I love this movie and what he does. Because Rian Johnson on this movie has definitely put his fingerprint on it, to where I feel like, how am I going to say this? Okay, out of any Star Wars movie, and I'm going to say this, out of any Star Wars movie, this one is the most. Now, don't get me wrong, they all are. But this one is the most story-centric Star Wars I have ever seen in my life.
All right, well, let me put you on the spot here.
Okay.
One thing that a lot of people from the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy, let's face it, there's a lot of different fan bases out there. But the one that has always been kind of smacked in the face of Lucas and Lucasfilm and Star Wars was all the awards that the original trilogy got. All the special effect awards that the prequels got. The fucking becoming the second highest grossing film of all time in Force Awakens.
Third.
And for a while it was second until Fast and Furious 8.
Well, no, Titanic and Avatar still hold numbers 1 and 2.
I thought it beat Titanic. Oh, all right. Either way, third highest grossing film of all time. All right. All these accomplishments, but one escaped it. Is this the movie that could get it for him? Is this Best Picture?
Man, I don't want to say Best Picture. There's been so many other movies that came out. Or at least Best Director. Now that one.
Does this put Star Wars back in the Oscars?
I don't know, because I don't know if they got it out in time for Oscar nominations. I don't know if they did it.
Not for this year, but it could be for next year.
But god damn it, dude, it deserves it. If it doesn't get it, it fucking deserves it.
Well, let's talk about something. Let's talk about something that we can speak on without worrying about spoilers. This is something we need to discuss this, because we touched on it a little bit on Journal of the Jedi, which just went up today. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
John Williams' score.
Man, he's still on top of his fucking game. That man, let me tell you something. Okay, look, we've got Beethoven. You know, we've got all these other composers. You got John Williams for a generation. He is the Beethoven of our generation.
A generation of 3 generations.
Oh yeah, 3 generations. I mean, oh my god, the music in The Last Jedi is just it's
an emotional ride in its own right.
It's its own character. It's its own character.
I've always said this. And I taught my kids this. Okay, my kids are 9 and 7. Okay. And they love the soundtrack to Star Wars movies. Okay? And this is no shot at Michael Giacchino for Rogue One, because I thought he did a good job, but that one had to grow on me.
Yeah.
And yes, even Force Awakens had to grow on me a little bit. When I first saw Force Awakens in the theater, the score didn't stand out to me like previous Star Wars movies.
The one that did the most,
this one here,
the one that did the most in Force Awakens for me was Rey's theme.
Love Rey's theme. Kylo's theme got me in Force Awakens. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I like that, But I taught my kids that with John Williams' score to Star Wars, you could close your eyes and just listen. And you see the scenes in your head. You know the dialogue and scenes.
Yep.
This movie is absolutely no exception.
Oh, man. It's Oh,
Every note, every beat hits its fucking mark.
it really does. That man, John Williams, is a beast. He's a machine. The man's a machine. And
Oh yeah,
and he's in his 80s now. Like, and he's still
85.
kicking these things out, and he's still as good. And I just,
When the time comes, and I'm not wishing it anytime soon.
oh God, no! I
But
don't want to.
when the time comes that he has to step away, or God forbid he passes on, if he is not recognized not just as a movie composer, but as one of the greatest composers of modern day, it would be an extreme criminal tragedy.
It will be.
The man is that talented.
Well, see, okay, look. I bleed Star Wars, right? I mean, you cut me, I'm gonna bleed John Williams music. I bleed Star Wars, but like, and I'm gonna probably
He
get
bleeds
lynched.
John Williams and he shits Jar Jar Binks.
Oh my God, I'm gonna get lynched for saying this though. But believe it or not, it's not my favorite movie of all time. Star Wars is not my favorite movie of all time. Believe it or not, my favorite movie of all time is something you wouldn't even guess. Like, it's actually The Patriot with Mel Gibson. That is my favorite.
Wow, really?
That is my absolute number one favorite movie of all time. And
Wow.
I showed it to Kirsty all the way through for the first time like a year ago. And it never dawned on me. I don't know why it never dawned on me, but I'm sitting there listening to the music and I'm like, that sounds like John Williams. And it was. And it was. I looked at it like, it is John Williams. And the more I listened to it, then I'm like, he's got, I mean, oh my God, he scored so many more movies than you can even think of on the spot. You know, like, and it's just, good God, like, Star Wars is going down as one of his greatest. Indy Jones, you know, like, that's going down. Jaws is going down. Like, it's just, he's got this repertoire that no one will ever be able to replicate or touch. He's a one of a kind. You know,
right?
And it's gonna be God forbid when that day comes, it's gonna be a serious blow to the industry and to humanity in general. Man, it really is. It's just, God damn.
No, you're absolutely right. But at the same time, you know, he's got to go down as one of the greatest composers of modern era.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter that what he presented was for film.
Mm-hmm.
It's still, the man was is a great composer, a great songwriter, and is able to project any emotion and any memorable melody and tone into any visual story, to the point that you can no longer have to even see the visual and still know the story.
Yeah.
That is a true hallmark of a iconic song composer and songwriter.
Hey, let's talk about one other thing real quick, and then I want to get off here because it's almost 2 a.m. Let's talk about this last thing. All right, look, we know things went pretty smooth with The Force Awakens being made. I mean, with the exception of, you know, Harrison Ford getting hurt and JJ hurting his back, helping Harrison after he got hurt. We know Rogue One had some issues, and we know Solo's had some issues. But if you think about it, dude, like, seriously, think about it. Like, 8 had no issues. It was smooth, start to finish. You never heard of a single problem on set. No one got hurt. No one even had a fucking sniffle on set. And that movie just breezed by.
Right.
And then you see how good it turned out. Dude, what is, like, just like, let your imagination wander for a minute. What is in store for us with Rian Johnson's new trilogy?
I don't know.
Seriously,
I don't know, but
just
if it's even a tenth of what this movie was, we're in for an extreme treat.
And even if it starts off slow, like the first movie, even if the first movie is just set up, I don't care. I love slow burn stories. Bring them on.
Well, I almost think it's got to. I almost feel like it's got to have like a New Hope vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
because it's starting something completely new.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we know Jedis, we know Sith, we know, the light and the dark side of the Force. These are themes that are, even in another galaxy, are going to have to be there for this to be Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, this is going to be a completely new universe.
Mm-hmm.
And because of it, it's got to have a slow beginning. You've got to introduce the characters, the worlds, the new alien races. You've got to set it up.
Yep.
So I do feel that the first of the trilogy will be like a New Hope slow.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not a bad thing, because New Hope was not that slow.
Oh, God, no.
Compared to the rest of the trilogy, yes, but it was not that slow.
Yeah.
I think we'll end this one on something. I don't know if you did it on your review, but since you and I are doing this together, we'll do it on my review here.
Okay.
Which, by the way, I sent you 2 files.
Yeah, I saw those.
I
think the video picked up
the
receiving sound.
Yeah, since you're recording, I figured I'll send you the other 2 parts and you can put it together.
Okay.
You got off tomorrow.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's give this a rating.
Oh man.
First ever in Realm of the Mist history. Let's give this a preliminary rating.
Okay.
Simple rating. Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being this is the greatest movie ever made.
Okay.
This is Bible story implications. 1 being this is what Jar Jar Binks had for breakfast.
Oh, moi.
3 days ago. Yeah. Ooh, moi, I love you. Icky, icky goo.
Oh, God. Okay, stop before that gets out of hand. Let's see. Rating. Okay, what do you think? I got to think about it for a minute. Okay, because look, wait. Okay, look. I don't want to give
you a chance.
I don't want to give it a 10. I don't want to give it a 10 because a 10 implies a perfect movie. Like, perfect movie, right? And
right.
In my review, I called it perfect. I literally used that word. But the more you and I talked about it, the more I came down off the adrenaline and the endorphins. You're right. There were a couple of little things that was like, but I really just kind of brushed them under the rug because I didn't give a shit. But
right,
like, I'm gonna give it a 9.5. I'm not playing. I'm giving it a 9.5.
That's pretty solid.
It is, man. I mean, because based on just story alone, beautifully shot. I don't feel like it had any pacing issues. Personally, I don't feel like it had any pacing issues.
Couple slow spots here or there, but nothing major.
Well, you kind of have to have some points in a movie where you have a breather. When so much is happening, you gotta take a step back and just kind of, okay, reset. Here we go again. So I get that, but
right.
Look, this movie advanced the story in a way that I didn't think a Star Wars movie could. It took our characters to new levels. It developed our characters in a way, and built on relationships in a way I didn't expect. It made me laugh in ways I didn't think I was gonna laugh. Just on the fact that I walked away with pure joy again, unadulterated joy. That's the word I'm using. Unadulterated joy. The fact that I walked away with that again, or for the first time in years of my life, that alone, I'm giving it a 9.5. I have to. It's worthy.
All right. To mirror what you're saying here, it was an absolutely solid story. It was absolutely beautifully shot. There were some issues within the movie. I didn't necessarily care for the Rose and Finn story arc. Mm-hmm. There were some jokes that just did not land or did not seem appropriate to not only Star Wars but that particular scene whatever the case may be.
I know which one you're talking about.
And there was that one scene that you and I discussed off screen that I had a lot of issue with. Mm-hmm. One for it being a red herring, fuck you, Ryan, for that. Mm-hmm. But also just I didn't like the way it was delivered afterwards. But understand what I'm saying from this. The negatives I'm saying from this are so minute compared to the overall of this movie. I got to give it a 9.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a solid 9. There was some flaws or errors in it, but no movie's ever going to be perfect.
Right.
But this movie is absolutely something you need to go out and see in the theater. This isn't just the next Star Wars movie.
This is a life experience.
Really is. This is an experience. This is a movie-going experience. This is the things your parents have told you about.
Yeah. Yep.
Not only with Star Wars, but just think of the greatest movies that were ever made. Mm-hmm. And people always tell you about the experience of going to see it in the theater. This is one of those movies.
Yeah.
Go see it.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. I echo that. Just if you're not going to go see this movie, there's something wrong with you, man. Like, it just...
What are you doing watching this review?
Yeah, go. Well, yeah, buy tickets now. Shit. It's just...
Yeah.
See, okay, look. Like, when we got to the movie theater today, we actually went at, like, I think we got there at, like, 3:30 or 4 o'clock. And I didn't know the movie theater wasn't even opening until 6. And we were the first ones there. We out of everybody in Wichita, we were the first people at that movie theater. We were standing in the lobby, and finally some other people started to show up. And it eventually got to where it was packed, right? Well,
okay.
This other guy showed up at one point. I'm hating myself because he introduced himself. I feel like it was Nicholas was his name. I'm probably getting his name wrong. I swear it started with an N. But he had the mentality, look, I know you guys were here first. If they open this door first, I'm going to kind of check some people to make sure you guys get in because I know you guys were here first. I'm like, all right, cool, appreciate it. And I told Kirsty, I'm like, look, I got to go get the tickets. You go get in line for the 7 showing. I'm going to go get the tickets and I'll meet you there. So I run up and get the tickets real quick. And I run back and she goes, they're already seating. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I take my ticket and I give her the tickets for her and my buddy and his girlfriend because he was meeting us there. I was like, you give them their tickets. I'm going to go get us seats. And by the time I got into the cinema, the same guy that let us in that quick had saved 4 seats for us right in the middle of the cinema. And I'm like, look, dude, if you're watching this, thank you so fucking much for helping us out like that. It was awesome because we went and saw Force Awakens the first time. We were far left, and it screwed the 3D up when we saw it. And dude, that was a huge help, and it was awesome meeting everybody at the movie theater tonight that we got to meet. You know, I talked to a couple guys, and I hate myself because I didn't get their names, but I was telling them about the website and everything. So it was absolutely awesome to get to talk to everybody about Star Wars and just speculate going into the movie and, you know, and hear all these new theories that I actually had never heard of before. And I was like, oh, holy crap, I never thought of that. We're going to learn in like 20 minutes. And, you know, it was just an absolute blast to get to meet everybody. So thank you guys for that experience, man. It does mean a lot. It really, really does.
There's nobody hates a Star Wars fan more than a Star Wars fan, but when it comes to things like this, there is so much love, and it's just a shared experience.
Yeah. And
I my only regret is I didn't have the camera on for majority of the people I talked to, waiting to going in. You know, I my phone was half dead. I literally left work to get to the theater, and all I had was my cell phone. It was half dead, so I couldn't get as much footage as I really wanted to. But it was excuse me. It was just so much fun, not only to go see the movie, but to share the experience with Star Wars fans. People dressed as Jedis and Sith and you know, dude showing up in his Chewbacca onesie pajamas. And, I mean, it was just... I was underdressed wearing a T-shirt. You know?
Yeah. Actually, you want to hear...
It's always a spectacle, and it's always such an enjoyment to just sit there and talk with fans.
Yeah. Well,
because I am one. Call it what it is. I am a fan.
Speaking of talking with fans, you'll never guess who just commented on my Facebook post about Star Wars.
Oh.
Mr. Mike Quinn himself. Yep. I haven't looked at it yet.
What did he say?
I haven't looked at it. I'm afraid to click on it because I'm afraid the recording will mess up. But we're going to try it. It'll be worth it. Hang on. Let me pull up Facebook because I just had the little thing pop up. I put up a status giving my initial thoughts of Star Wars, so I want to see what he said about it. I'm actually very anxious. Okay, he said, because my exact status was OMG, 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 The Last Jedi, go see it. That was my initial reaction coming out of the film. And Mike Quinn, who, those of you that don't know, played Nine Numb in Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, and The Last Jedi. He's a friend of the channel. He commented and said, awesome, I love it to bits. That's really all he said. Actually, you just commented on it too. So, but yeah, that happened. So, speaking of which, we're going to try to get him on for our spoiler review, aren't we?
Yes. I guess I could say this now. I can actually officially announce it. I have been in contact with Mr. Mike Quinn during the time leading up to The Last Jedi. As everybody on Canon Library knows, that myself and Mr. Brian Miller had done a interview with Mr. Mike Quinn before, and afterwards we were able to keep in contact with him. A really, really upstanding, wonderful guy, and
he's an absolute joy to talk to.
And
he's awesome.
I talked him into agreeing to come back on and give a spoiler review of The Last Jedi with us from an inside perspective.
Yeah.
Once everybody has had the opportunity to see it. So, yes, in the next month or two, I intend to have Mr. Quinn on with us to sit down and talk The Last Jedi.
Absolutely.
So, yes, that is coming.
I can't wait to talk to him about it. I really can't. So, well, with that, I think it's about time to head to bed because it's 2 a.m. where I'm at. It's 3 a.m. where you are.
Yeah, 7:30 comes early.
Yeah, well, I ain't got to worry about it. I'm sleeping the hell in tomorrow, so.
That's why I sent you my video and asking you nicely to cut it together.
I'm going to spend all day tomorrow making videos. I ain't playing, man. Because there were some things I was right about. There's some things I was wrong about. There's some things I knew and some things that I didn't know. And, oh, my God.
Yes, you bastard. You kept them from me the whole time.
Dude, you know what? You know how hard it was sitting on certain information? Do you have any idea what that was doing to me? Like, it was like an acid eating me from the inside out. And I was just like, I wanted to spit it out, but I was like, no, I got to hold it in. I got to do it. I got to hold it in. I got to pass this test. And I motherfucking passed this test. So,
of course, it helped he took about a 3-month highitus from Realm of the Mist to do so.
Well, that was...
I know, but it helped.
It did help, yeah. So, all right, well, with that being said, where can they find you at, Chris?
Oh, right here on Realm of the Mist. Once in a while, I show up on Star Wars Canon Library. I'm always on Journal of the Jedi and Breaking the Fourth Wall. Sometimes I'm Talking Trek. Any of the shows on Realm of the Mist, you'll probably find me there in one way, shape, or form.
Fair enough. And you guys can find me at the Star Wars Canon Library YouTube channel, also on the Facebook page. Make sure to visit the website, www.starwarscanonlibrary.com, for all of your canon timeline needs. We keep it all in chronological order for you guys. Make sure to like us on Facebook as well. I'm going to start doing Facebook Live videos every weekend, start maybe doing some giveaways. So keep an eye out for that. You can also find me here on Realm of the Mist and the upcoming Breaking the Fourth Wall when everybody comes back from the Christmas break.
That's right, after New Year's.
Yep.
And just to end it out, I'm going to say 2 simple things. 1, may the Force be with you.
Always.
2, there is no such thing as a gray fucking Jedi. And this movie confirms that.
Oh, he went there.
Have a good night, guys.
Hey, take it easy, guys.
Go see the movie.
Hope y'all enjoy it, too. So, have a good one, guys.